Hi guys, welcome back to our channel.
Oh, welcome if you're new.
If you don't know, we have been living in Korea for the past 7 years.
It's been a minute.
And as a result of this, we kind of went through lots of different stages. Novelty, like wow, how nice. And now it's more like we're kind of living like the locals, we know a bit more.
We've been through all the stages, you know, like the new student
Yeah.
that doesn't have any coin, that doesn't know
No money.
anything, that doesn't speak Korean, to now like Korean
Fluent
proficiency
and, like,
is fine,
yeah.
and then you can get around. We can like maybe share a bit of that knowledge with you guys to not struggle as much as we did in the beginning.
A lot of people were asking like, how did you get a house here when you come for the first time? Most people who ask this are usually students. So as we can see, we're in like an environment that's quite big. This is Leslie's house.
Hi.
We have not started like this.
No.
Okay? We
long
didn't
way.
start here. We've come a long way,
Girl.
and there are multiple stages of housing that you can get. We actually have a video on this that's like years ago, and it has all the like very specific details, so you can check it out right here.
Depending on your budget, of course, we specifically started with Goshi Tail. There's the Goshi 1 and Goshi Tail structure, which is the room, like literally the space.
It's
with
like this.
You have your little toilet in your room, and you have a bed. That's usually what
It's very long.
Ours was like a bit fancy. We had
Yeah.
a little balcony.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Excuse us. How is that even possible? Because we were paying like what, 500? No,
600. It was
500,000
600.
Yeah.
650. Me 650 a month.
Yeah.
But no deposit. That's the main thing. Like when you arrive and you don't have money, because in Korea, as you may probably know, if you're already interested in coming, you have the whole culture of the deposit plus
The rent.
the rent. But the deposit is not just like 1 or 2 months rent as it is in most countries. It's actually like a very consequential amount. It's actually crazy. When
It
you
can be
think
like
about it.
$10,000,
It's usually $10,000. It's
$20,000.
between, when you start, it's between $5,000 to
and
$10,000. So when you just arrive and you don't have the resources, usually what you do is you look for places without a deposit. And those are Goshi 1, Goshi Tail. So that's what we did when we arrived. It was close to the university. You got a lot of those options near universities because students don't have the funds.
It's great for short term.
Yeah, as well.
Because you don't know if you're here as a language student for only 6 months or if you're here for university for 4 years. So for us, it was the best choice that we've had. And usually what you would find is like you have the tiny room that she just mentioned, and then you have like a communal kitchen, like kitchen area with sometimes like free
side dish.
like
The
side dishes
dish.
and rice, sometimes tea and coffee, stuff like that. So you can have those things for free, and then you have your own bathroom, thank God, and your own room. So that is the first option.
What a lot of our peers did as language school was
The guest houses, dormitories with multiple people.
Exactly. So you go with other foreigners usually because they all want the same kind of like housing for the short term. So you go into the dormitory, but where can you find those? I'm not quite sure.
There was like at the time anyway, there was not an app, but more like a platform where you can go and like ask an agency. But this is pretty easy to find nowadays. Like you can literally just go in like Seoul dormitory and you'll find the information. But if you want like specific details on the tiny like apartments, the tiny rooms that we were speaking, definitely go check out our video. And then you don't hesitate to just pretty much Google like the dormitories, because those are pretty easy to come by. A lot of them have agencies that speak English as well. Koshi one is a little less international, so you kind of have to know where to go basically. So check out our video. There's also on-campus housing, but honestly I've never done it. I don't know if you know, but I don't know anything about that. So this is something that you would have to check with your school. So they usually take care of that. That's why we're not mentioning it here.
Then we moved to a one room, which is mostly what you find here in Korea.
I guess one room could be translated as a studio, and then you have the bathroom, little kitchenette area, the desk, and your space for a bed. You also have lots of storage, usually.
Depending where
We hadn't know. You were struggling because she had like a bunch of bags.
No,
Clothes, Leslie. Those people who have lots of clothes. Y'all need to make a difficult decision. Those are a bit bigger, but they're still like what, 20 square meters? Barely. Those are kind of like your first long-term option. The contract is usually from 1 to 2 years at a time. For those who come here for 4 years, for example, for university, that's kind of a good choice if you have the deposit money.
As usual, that's the main issue because deposit can like really be difficult to gather.
We also have a video on this specific subject, so definitely check it out and you'll see exactly what we're talking about. The process of going to the real estate agency and then the showing of the house. So it's a very specific very interesting, very different concept compared to the other countries.
It's also very quick. So, like something that we're not used to as French people is that the process of getting a house is so quick.
We were like, huh?
Excuse me, I'm supposed to move tomorrow? What? What are you talking about? To find those places where you go to the different
real
estate app. So you have like Tikbang. Me personally, I use Never Budongsan. I feel like this is the closest to reality, and they tend to not lie on the pictures. You want to go check something, and they're like, oh, actually this one, no, let me show you something else. This has nothing to do with the thing you were interested in.
We look online just to have an idea, but we already know when we go there, it's not going to be this. They're always going to find an excuse to show you something else. So if you go to Never Budongsan, that one is a little bit more accurate.
Yeah. There is also the carrot market. People just sell like directly without going through a real estate agency, so it's more like person to person.
Well, that's nice. I didn't know about that. Okay.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's all in Korean.
Yeah,
right?
There is no English.
Either use Papago or know a bit of the basic words to what you're looking for, and then you can actually go. Even when you go visit, usually they don't really speak English a lot. I think nowadays there's more and more companies that helps you, like
they get like interpreters, but those are more expensive.
Yeah, it's either you're gonna have to pay a little fee for bringing somebody with you, or like ask for somebody to help you, or go to an English-speaking agency. That's probably gonna be a bit more expensive. But yeah, so
if you have the coin, though,
it's better to have a friend come with you.
There's so many different like categories. I know someone who live in like a 2-room, which is the same process as a 1-room. It's just bigger and more expensive. And then there's like this type of apartment. So what do you have to say about
You have the difference between villa, office-style, apartment.
Villa, by the way, doesn't mean like a villa like what we know. It's an apartment still, but it's the word they use to differentiate between the office-style, which are a specific type of apartment building. Villa is usually in like a regular building that's more like traditional.
Looks like a house with like 6 floors.
And then subsidize it in the apartment inside. The office style is more like the modern ones that you will see like in like a kind of skyscraper looking building.
In the office style, you're gonna have offices. In the villa, it's mostly focused
It's only residential.
Apartments are just the fancy ones, like the family ones. This one, it's an office style. The main difference compared to the villa, at least, the fees, bills and stuff, super expensive. Usually this kind of building, when it's like commonly taken care of, there's like a common area and stuff that you have to also pay for. Super expensive. However, the gym is in the building, the CVS is right downstairs as well, so it's very convenient, but you pay for that convenience. When I used to live in Seongsu, the villa, my fees a month was, when it was expensive and I used the aircon all day, it was $50. Here we're paying like
300 a month, and also the type of contract is different, right, than just like the location. Like 월세 전세.
Oh yeah, 월세 전세 is a whole.
It's like a whole.
But this one we're still in 월세, so 월세 is the one when you pay smaller deposits.
This is not a 전세. Oh, we actually also have a video on this subject. If you want to check that out, you can. But yeah, the deposit for a place like this one is much bigger. So if you're probably coming for the first time and alone, you're probably more gonna look into like the Goshi one and the 1-room. But hey, if you're feeling fancy and you want like a big apartment with 2-3 rooms, check it out right here. You know, mostly like it's like what young married couples who live in places like this, or like small families. Because
this one, like the deposit 50K, and the monthly rent is also still above like 1,000 stuff. So it's like you paid a lot of money, but you get the space. So
these are pretty much the big 3 of the housing in Korea. There is a 4th one. It's when you can buy a house. Whoever is able to do that, you can let us know, and we want the link to the video so we can know how to get there. Thank you. One thing that unfortunately people don't explain enough to people who just came here is also the fact that when you come here, when you move to a place, you have to declare it to your immigration office. There is like a specific vocabulary word. This is the word right here, but it's basically to say, hey, I live here, this is where my bills need to come, this is where, I don't know exactly what they need it for, but this is pretty much to signal that this is where I live. And the problem with that is like, if for example you're looking for like a loft or something like that, and like an office style specifically, like, you know, in those clean looking buildings, a lot of the apartments that are available are actually not eligible for the declaration that you have to do to the immigration. Some of these apartments who are not eligible are actually specifically for startups. Basically, it's like if you're working there, if you're, you know, you're running your business out of there, you cannot make it as a declaration for a residence. So if you're looking for a place, you have to see that it's basically this phrase right here, meaning that it is eligible for residential use only. So double check that and make sure you see that you have all the requirements and you are eligible.
where would be the good area to live?
That's hard.
So I know in Itaewon specifically, there's a lot of house sharing.
Yeah.
Like people would do like roommate situation. It's not really happening a lot, but in Itaewon specifically, because it's very foreigner centered, there's a lot of housemates.
Yeah, like roommates.
Because you have bigger houses sometimes and you just have like one room and like a nice living area. You need to be willing to climb because Itaewon is like this.
It's hills
So
everywhere.
you need to be willing to climb, but the house was really nice. Depending on your budget, I would say when you start, like the student neighborhood would be the best. So Hongdae, Sinchon, Kongguk, University.
All this area, like
All
that's
the
like Hapjeong,
universities.
the university.
And then if you still want something cheap, but that kind of has a bad reputation in Korea. Korean people don't really like those neighborhoods. They said it's dangerous. Shilin, Shindorin, this kind of like area over there. But also actually Kongguk University is a bit meh. And then you have like the fancy neighborhoods would be like Gangnam,
Apgujeong. Yeah, those are like if you have the coins,
Jamshi, all of those.
more power to you. But I always recommend just live around your campus. 10 minutes from your university, I would recommend is the best. And that is pretty much all we know about the housing. It's been a while, so we kind of got used to the process and everything. Definitely check out the videos. We will link them in the description so you can have more details. It goes into like literally every step for each category, so you're able to at least like know everything you have to know about this. But definitely look for other opinions and ask the people around you. Do your own research.
There is also probably Facebook groups for exchange of properties, or also when you try to furnish your house, so people when they leave their their furniture and everything. So Facebook group, check for
Still
Korea,
like huge
housing in
communities.
Korea. There's a lot of those. So
They have
just,
like
check
resources and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments. Now that we've been here for a while, we're like, let's share more of what we know, But sometimes I don't even think of like, oh, maybe people want to know this.
Exactly.
So let us know in the comments if you want to know more. If you like this video, don't forget to like it so that we know that you like it. And it will also help us appear in the algorithm for other people who are maybe looking for information, especially for the next fall, which is like the next semester. I guess we will see you guys in our next video. So stay tuned and we'll see you later.
Bye.